I'm gonna give a moment while I pull up a precept. The one I really want to bring out in this. I'll give people a moment to come in. I don't expect me to come in, but anyway, um, I just want. Let me start first by giving all praise and glories unto Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Arakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders at the great millstone. Greetings, salutations, and blessings unto the elect. Shalom unto you. All right, Brother Shaquat from the Las Vegas camp. Just want to put out a quick announcement about my gym. This page here, the GMS Sin City Las Vegas page. We know how YouTube has been coming down on us for putting all types of videos out there. Um, the new hate speech is truth. We're not medical professionals, but then they have all this folly all over the internet um, pertaining to everything that's happening in the earth right now, and they don't want us to really speak about it. So um, I've gotten a couple strikes or whatever. At this point, I've created a couple new pages. One that I've had going a little while was GMS Sound Council LV, and as well as GMS Sin City Las Vegas BA. All right, I'm try to start uploading on those, particularly the BA page, because the Sound Council also has a strike on it. And then, so I test them out on the pages that don't have a strike upon them to see how they do, and then I'll before I hit those heavy more severe strikes later on. So you can find me at that. I'll try to remember after this is all on this page and ready to go. I'll try to put those links to remember to go back and put those links to those pages in there. So please subscribe and share with your camps and and to family and friends or whoever that will watch this page here. But while we're here, I have a lesson about the Feast of Unleavened Bread is not a cakewalk. Okay, yeah, that's a play on words and ideas, but it's not easy street um, for a lot of people to hold the Feast of Unleavened Bread, and so I want to go into it to give a little more insight about it, and then hopefully share some ideas, or at least the type of thinking. Beautiful. Turn right to it. Leviticus chapter 23, and I'm gonna start up at verse 4. No, that's 17. Slocky. Let me get it. 23, verse 4, which says, this page, which says, these are the feasts of the Lord Yahweh, even holy convocations, which ye shall proclaim in their seasons. We know we had the Passover, just recently, earlier at the end of last week. And now we're in the time of the Feast of the Unleavened Bread. All right. It says, so this will break it down for you. It says, these are the feasts of the Lord, even holy convocations, which ye shall proclaim in their seasons. In the 14th day of the first month at even is the Lord's Passover. Right? We hold that in its regard. And on the 15th day of the same month of the Feast of Unleavened Bread unto the Lord, 7 days ye must eat unleavened bread. Okay? And there's ways to find unleavened bread. The easiest way, I live on the West Coast. I grew up in Southern California, around Northern Kingdom and Southern Kingdom. But particularly, I enjoy Mexican food. So corn tortillas, which is usually what a lot of us use as far as unleavened bread for the Passover feast, and also this Feast of Unleavened Bread. Now, the problem comes in is you've ate that once or twice. Now, what do? Well, this first off, let's grow up, because this is only shalom. But first of all, let's remember that this is only a week, a little over a week, like 8 days. Okay, it's just a week. It's not a big deal. It's not telling you that you can't ever eat a burger or a sandwich or any of that ever again. All right, shalom to y'all on the comment boards. It says, I'm gonna read that verse again. Verse 6. On the And on the 15th day of the month, the day after you hold the Passover, and we also eat it on the Passover. It says, is the feast of unleavened bread unto the Lord. 7 days ye must eat unleavened bread, because we ate that bread walking through the wilderness, okay? And it commemorates that whole time of us getting that out of our house. It's also a healthy thing to remove leaven, and what's the other thing they call it? Um, it's big now. They're gluten. Okay, so you're starting to look at it as far as wheat and gluten, not necessarily wheat, but removing gluten out of your diet. All of these things are good, but the main point is that bacteria, that culture, if you will, of yeast or of a rising agent, is to be removed out of your houses. So what do you eat? Okay, well, you must eat unleavened bread. So for me particularly, leading up to it, basically a week or a month or so leading up to the Passover, I don't eat Mexican food. Okay, and then as time gets closer, I know during that week, I'm gonna just get it all in as much as I can. You do have to still read labels. This is key that you read labels. But once you begin to read labels and you've removed so many things out of your life, speaking of, yeast extracts and baking soda and things of that nature, you'll start realizing, man, it's kind of scarce in here. I can't have a sandwich. I can't have a quick bite of anything. Well, this is your chance to get up on your salad game. But dressings have it. Yeah, dressings do have yeast and different things that we aren't, vinegars and different things that we don't that aren't kosher for this week, so to speak. All right, that may have leaven of some sort in it for this week. Thickeners and so on and so forth. Well, what do you do? Well, this is when you can home make stuff, and this is where we should be moving towards anyway. We shouldn't be eating as much out as we were, um, as we normally would be. So you're gonna have to, hey, you might have to make yourself a sack lunch. You may have to have, you know, um, tuna fish and oranges. I'm just randomly throwing stuff out there. You may have to have a salad with lemon juice and olive oil sprinkled on it with salt and pepper, some seasoning or something. That may be the diet. This is also a good time for us to take a look at what we really put in our diet. Myself, Lord willing, I could hold this um, beyond just the Feast of Unleavened Bread. That I'm really going to try to fall back on bread. Partaking on bread and even sugars. Artificial sugars to some degree. I mean, you can't fight everything, but just the extra, a whole lot of juice, a whole lot of. I don't drink soda or anything like that, but just trying to dial my diet back, because one thing that we can guarantee when you go into matter of fact, I'll get it right quick. This is in Second Esdras, the 15th chapter. Yeah, let me see. Too far. Second Esdras, chapter 15, and straight to the point is right here 19. Second Esdras chapter 15 verse 19. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor. This is a future prophecy, okay? But shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread. Now, when during this week, it's evident to see how serious and how much of a staple and also a comfort food, shalom unto y'all, and how much of a comfort food bread truly is. Okay? So we have to understand that the time of comfort is coming to an end. So why not start now? That's my personal opinion on it. I love a good burger. I love sandwiches and things of that nature. Things that have yeast, I enjoy them. But trying to cut back to where I'm not so dependent on how my flesh does without it, you know. And during the Feast of Unleavened Bread is a good time to begin that practice for me. It says, because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. So I'm already gonna start getting my mind wrapped around not having meat and not having bread. Those are good practices to begin early. Okay, not to say to never eat a sandwich or a roll, dinner roll or nothing. That's not my point. It's just for me. I've decided that's how I want attempt to approach it. I'm still gonna have my burgers and all of that, and protein style now, and for and so on. But what are the ideas? Okay, so let me go back to Leviticus before I go too far. This will be a really short lesson. Okay, this it's really short. Sorry, 10 minutes in. It says anyway. It says yeah, yep. In that first day, this is back in Leviticus 23. In the first day, ye shall have an holy convocation. You should do no servile work therein, but ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord Yahweh 7 days. That may not be feasible, but hey, do the best you can. And in the seventh day is an holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work therein. Okay. Speaking of the feast of unleavened bread. Now, the thing that I've noticed over the years that I've been in this thing, and that people that I'm connected to ask questions like, "Dang, it's harder than I thought to try to not just eating yeast and bread." Okay. That's not the vinegars. That's not just that. So what can we do? Well, there's things like salads, soups. There's other meals that can be made. You can still eat rice. You can still eat potatoes. Okay. You can still eat vegetables. Things that we should be eating anyway. Things that are it's just a week. Okay. If you can't deal without bread or yeast, it's just a week. But you may want to consider looking into oatmeal. Beautiful. I was going to even mention grits, with fruit in it. Okay. These things are still good for you. Peanut butter is still good. Okay. You can't put it on bread, but you can put it in a smoothie, protein shakes. Okay. These are some things that you may want to consider eating during this week, and possibly incorporate it into your diet. One thing I do notice, that we're all what's the word I want to use? We're all guilty of, for lack of a better term, is that in the modern world, in modern society, we have an issue that our people like to eat out a lot because it's just cheaper. You don't have to clean up. You just run through a drive-through, grab something, and keep moving. But we also know that these places don't have the healthiest food. Even when you do have reasonable places that you can go to, it's a lot cheaper to eat at home, and you can cook the same things. You don't have to worry about what's going on in their kitchen, if they're kosher in there, if they have this, if they eat pork in there, they cook pork in there, or whatever. You don't have to worry about that at home. You do have to prepare for it though. Okay. By saying that, myself this week, I had a rotisserie chicken that I bought from Sam's Club, Walmart, somewhere that they do the pre-cooked rotisserie chickens. Well, that's my protein for a couple of meals. If it were just me or for my household. After that, I don't discard the carcass of that whole chicken. What I actually do is I take that and I boil it with some vegetables, celery, carrots, bell pepper, onions, things of that nature, and then I boil it for the flavor. I season it, with basic seasonings, nothing, not seasoning salt, but salt, pepper, cayenne, or whatever flavors that I'm turmeric, whatever flavor profile I'm looking to move towards, and I use that as a soup base. Okay, now I can guarantee there's no yeast in that because I created myself. Remove the bones. Now you have that chicken flavor with the seasonings and the vegetables ready to be made into a soup. Okay, it's becoming into the warmer months, and even though summer months are known as good times for soup, the winter time is known for soups. The summertime and springtime, basically all year is good for soups. Okay, and remember, it's only a week. That same logic, when you don't have time and you like just running through a drive-through, hey, there's this invention that they came out with years ago called a crock pot. Okay, a crock pot allows you to put your ingredients, the same things for soup or raw meat or whatever you want to do, put it into this crock pot, set it with a timer. Now you can't make their gravy, but you can make your own gravy, which for some of you cooks out there, you know how to make a bechamel, which is like a creamy sauce, or a roux. The roux is basically flour, a little bit of oil, and some seasoning, okay, to thicken the fats and the moisture that you use, whether it be broth or water, to create a gravy. Okay, There's also instead of making, if you don't trust the contents of ragu or prego or whatever, Paul Newman or whoever sauces that you like your Italian food with, there's always a chance that you could get your own canned tomatoes, check the ingredients, or you can even stew your own tomatoes. Okay, put them in the crock pot, let them go. Put some garlic in there, some whole garlic or whatever you do, some basil, oregano, so on and so forth, and you'll be surprised. Okay, how delicious that'll become. Fry up your meat once you get home, because that'll pretty the sauce will damn near be ready. Okay, you might have to mash the tomatoes or whatever, however you like it. But that's stews, that's things. But it's getting you into a mentality that you're not going to trust in this system to give you kosher food, to give you food that's compliant to the Feast of Unleavened Bread. And as always, as I read in Leviticus, the 23rd chapter, 7 days you must eat unleavened bread. Well, you can always throw tortillas with all of this stuff. Or if you're that deep into it and you have that type of time on your hands, you can get your flour out and get your water and start mixing it up. There's recipes all over YouTube and Google that you can do for things without yeast. All right. And that's just a few base ideas. You can get as creative as you want to be with this. Just be mindful that you're not adding certain things that certain vinegars, certain that you're not adding things that have yeast, like those seasoning packets, McCormick or whoever that is that makes that stuff. That you're not dealing with that. Bear with me 1 second. Wipe my nose, blow my nose. Slacky. Wipe my nose a little bit, but yeah. So that was just some ideas of things that you can do and use, because this isn't easy. It's funny because it just seems how Satan tempts us. You walk into work, and in the break room, it just got pastries everywhere. Your favorite pastries and donuts and coffee in there. You know, you walk into the grocery store. You before you even get to the vegetable section, the produce section, you got to walk through the bakery. You got to walk through all these other things that you're not sure what's in them. Well, take the same things and make them at home. If you cut your potatoes up first and then boil them, it's easier to make mashed potatoes and a lot faster than having to have the heat that breaks down the potatoes penetrate all the way through a whole potato versus just a chunk of a potato. Yeah, it's more work, but hey, what else? What other folly are you gonna waste your time doing? TikTok? Okay, you can do this with videos on. Okay, you can do this as the audio Bible music. You can have your kids help you. If they're of age to handle not super sharp knives, but certain small knives. They can help. Or if they're older, hey, this is something that we can spend our time doing with our families. Okay. Um, so these are just some things that should help you to understand. And then don't forget, there's always spinach and kale and things like that we can always just kind of saute up in a pan. We can do ground meat. Like I said, my favorite stuff to do is Mexican food. Okay, but I get a little creative. I'll put potatoes in the meat. I'll put carrots and beans and corn. You know, quinoa. I put in brothers here in Vegas. No, I'll put anything in a tortilla shell. Okay, and enjoy it. Salad. You can make all kinds of things, and this is basically for a week, just to get you from leading from one day into the next. Um, and white sauce, barbecue sauce, or canned lamb. That's according to your flavor and the ingredients. Let me see. I saw something else that was in there. Let's see what else we saw. I don't know. I'm not sure about the white sauce you're talking about. Like you talking about like an Alfredo sauce, or or that bechamel sauce, because Alfredo is basically a bechamel. Which, to explain the bechamel for you that I didn't explain as I did with roux, bechamel, basically you take flour and you mix it with butter and you slightly brown it just like you would do the roux. You slightly cook the flour until the butter's incorporated, and the butter's now browned and it's becoming more of a sauce. But instead of adding water or broth to it, A bechamel, you would add cream of some sort, milk or cream to it to make more of a creamy sauce. Alfredo sauce is now taking that same bechamel once it hits the proper consistency, because flour is going to make it thicken. Once you've made that you add in whatever your flavor is going to be. Particularly with Alfredo, it will be Parmesan cheese. Okay, and people add other things. I'm not a shelf or anything like that. I do enjoy food though, and I have watched a lot of Food Network. So, you know, you pick up things. Okay, and so but there's, like I'm saying, there's recipes all over. The problem with a recipe is when people consider when they have to start cooking. Cooking in the ancient world started all day. You go back as far as like the way some of the people, the traditions of some of the people, Italians and certain Hispanics even, they start the night before uh, chopping up their vegetables that they're going to be using for the next day. Early in the morning, first thing they get up, they done got the pot going. Okay, and it's going to take all the time, and that flavor is going to show through. It's not just going to be a quick meal to help and get these kids fed, but it's going to be something that the kids are going to eat and be comforted with and enjoy. Okay, so I'm trying to think of anything else um, that that I had on my mind. Oh, for you that came in late, I don't know how long it's gonna take, but when you go back to the beginning of this video, this page is gonna be reserved for certain live streams because it's taking far too long to get it up. And once I do return to this page, once all the strikes have been removed off of it, that's when the time period goes away. That's when I'll be I may start dealing back with this page, but not on a main page except for our live camp streams and certain live streams, because the other pages haven't been gotten up to the quota to go live. There's other ways to do it. I'm still working on it to get it right. This was meant to be a stream of being able to show examples with a screen recording, but it wouldn't allow me to go live with the screen recording. So this is what I had to do to get it right. So please subscribe to these other pages. One of them is GMS Sound Council LV, and another is GMS Sin City Las Vegas BA. All right, and like I said earlier, those are will be used as pages that I'll be more uploading on, and particularly the BA page is beginning as a dummy page because it has no strikes. The Sound Council does have a strike on it, so I would like to just kind of use these to just see if the videos that I'm uploading will be won't get strikes before I put them on the ones that do have a time table to wait before it's completely clear of strikes for the people that are subscribed to this. But also, for some reason, since I've been back here in Vegas, there's been a real delay on uploading videos. Like my internet, I don't know if it's just my internet or my phone or the way I'm doing it, but I'm looking to other processes of getting these videos up quick. So I'm gonna try to do more live, so I don't have to worry about the process of it going up so slowly. And yeah. So basically, this was just to show you it's not a cakewalk. It's not easy because every drive-through, every fast food, every restaurant you go to, you don't know what's in there. And majority of the food that's offered out there in the world has the things that we can't eat. So this is part of being in the world, but not of the world. This is part of being taken out of the world and being separate of the world. We went to a restaurant, me and the brothers went to a restaurant yesterday, and we were having it as a Mexican restaurant. We still had to ask about what some of their ingredients were. It wasn't just about if they fry in lard or if it was cooked on the same griddle with pork. But furthermore, does that have yeast in it? Does that have leaven? There's vinegar in that green sauce. We have to ask these different questions to see the process of how people make it. But the easiest way to do it is simply to create your own meals at home. Okay, and even for me, I'm just gonna say this: fasting and prayer is a good thing, but dialing back the amount of food that I eat. And for you that know me, that see me, I can tend to lose a few pounds anyway. I can miss a meal or two; it won't hurt me. All right, because one day we will be missing meals. Yeah, the servants will eat and drink and all of those things, but that doesn't mean without missing a meal or two in between, where everybody else that isn't under the umbrella of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai will continually miss meals to their detriment. Okay, so I'm gonna end it there. Lord willing, this was edifying. Giving all praise and glories unto Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai, Ba'ashim Arakakudash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders at the great millstone. Greetings, salutations, and blessings unto the elect. And the last thing I want to put out there was just simply just get more creative with what you do and be more diligent and vigilant about the things that you're putting in your body. This is a good time to take a look at those things. This is a good time to see if to clean up your diet. It's a good time to see if the people these certain restaurants are practicing that, and to start removing some of the things that we know won't be around. Candy, it's wonderful. We all love candy. We all grew up on it. Might be time to dial it back some. Okay, might be time to dial back the soft drinks and the sports drinks and all of those artificial things. You know, even to the point of these concentrated juices. Okay, and start investing in things that will benefit your body versus hinder it from its natural processes. So anyway, with that, Lord willing, is edifying. To the next one. Say shalom.